Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel Electronics Maddie. In this video I am going to demonstrate simulation of a power factor correction circuit for a boost converter in MATLAB Simulink. In case you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe to it so that you will be getting the videos that we post regularly. Alright, let's get into our topic for today. This is the MATLAB model of a power factor correction circuit for a boost converter. So one of the major objective of our circuit is to ensure voltage and current is in phase with respect to each other, and when they are in phase with respect to each other we usually call the power factor close to be equal to unity. So practically, although it's not practically easy to achieve power factor to be equal to unity, we will try to achieve that. And what happens in the circuit is that the gate pulses that is given through this after all these blocks will adjust such that the voltage and current that is obtained after the uncontrolled rectifier block, the output voltage and current will be in phase with respect to each other. So ideally, this happens only in case of a resistive load, but these type of circuits also we will be able to achieve by changing the value of the gate pulses by using all these functions. So what is done in this model, I'll be explaining each and every portion of the circuit. So let's get started in our with our simulation. Let's go to MATLAB and start. Here we are. Click on Simulink library browser and search for AC voltage source. So you will be basically guessing AC voltage source right at the top. So add this one. So choose the ones that are there in black. So once that is done, we need a universal bridge. So search for universal bridge and add that block as well. So once that is done, we will be requiring a voltage measurement block. So search for voltage measurement and add that block. We also need a current measurement block. So search for current measurement block and add that as well. So once both of these are added, we will be requiring the components with respect to a boost converter. That is, we need a series RLC branch. So search for series RLC branch. Later on, we can convert this to capacitor, inductor, resistor respectively. We also need a MOSFET, which is basically the heart of our circuit in order to achieve unity power factor correction circuit. So add this block as well. And once this is done, we need a scope in order to measure the output, in order to see how the waveform looks like at the output terminals. So add this block as well. So once all of these are added, we will be requiring a constant block in the feedback path. So I'll be adding that as well. So add the constant block. We also need a gain block. So search for gain and add the gain block over here. Once gain block is also added, we need a sum which basically adds the values with respect to the differences. So reference and the actual value will be compared and we'll be getting it over here. So add this block as well. We need a PID controller in the feedback path. So search for PID, use the one which is with respect to S domain and add this block. And once all of these are added, we need a PLL synchronization block. So search for PLL, scroll right at the bottom, you will be seeing something called as PLL. So add this. I'll tell you the purpose of this block. And once this is added, we need a sine trigonometric function. So search for sine and you will be getting it little down. Use the trigonometric function. So be very careful. We're not using the sine wave function, we're using the trigonometric function. So once all of these are added, we need an ABS block, which basically is called the absolute value of block. So it gives the absolute value of the signal. So we'll be requiring that as well. We need a product block as well. So search for product and you will be getting product right at the top over here. So once all of these are done, we need a relational operator. So search for relational operator. You'll be getting it right over here. Add that block as well. We need a repeating sequence. So search for a repeating sequence. You will be getting it right at the top. So search for repeating sequence and this is the one that we need to add. And once that is also added, so we have all the components except one that is basically called as mux. So this is basically used in order to take both the signals and display them in the scope. So add this block as well. So once all of these are added, we can place the components in appropriate position so that we can get started with our circuit diagram. So place the components in appropriate position. So double click on this, change the number of arms to 2 and use this as diodes. Choose this as diode so that it's a diode full wave rectifier. So connect these between these 2 points, that is with respect to A and B, and I'll be connecting it to an ammeter in this particular fashion. And we need an inductor to be connected. So choose the value of inductor to be 1 millihenry and connect it in this particular fashion. Connect it through the switch and we'll be returning this back to the circuit, and disable the measurement port. We don't need that, just to avoid any confusions with respect to the circuit. And once that is done, we will be requiring a capacitor. So rotate this and choose the value of capacitance to be equal to 1000 microhenry. So enter 1000. So once that is done, we will be requiring a resistive load. So copy paste these again, and choose the value of resistance to be equal to 500 ohms. So click on OK once that is done, and we'll be connecting at these 2 points, such that the boost converter circuit is also completed. So I'm using an uncontrolled rectifier that is converting AC to DC, and DC is given as an input to the boost converter, and consequently you will be achieving the boost converter operation with respect to the circuit. Now what I'll be doing is I'll be copy pasting another voltage measurement block. So I'll be connecting it between these 2 points, and I'll be giving it to the scope over here. So this is done. So we need another voltage measurement block at this point with respect to the source terminals, and I'll be giving it to this point, and it in turn is given to a PLL synchronization block. So let us double click on the source, and I'll be changing only the frequency. The supply frequency is chosen to be equal to 50 Hertz. Click on OK. So what PLL synchronization block does is that, let me choose the value of frequency here to be equal to 50. What this block does is that it compares with respect to the supply, and decides the amount of deviation with respect to the phase angle, and that omega t is given as an input to a sinusoidal trigonometric function. So that will be the angle given to the sinusoidal signal. So sine of theta will be the value that you get. Consequently, it should be given to a gain block. So copy paste this at this point, and I'll be giving it to this. So what is the value over here of this? So it is basically root to 1.41, just to obtain the RMS value of that particular signal. So you'll be multiplying it with root 2, and you'll be giving it to an absolute value block. So it basically gives the absolute value of the signal. So once that is done, I'll be giving it to this point, and consequently let us talk about the feedback path as well. So over here I'll be taking a tapping directly at this point, and we need a gain block. So use this as the gain block that we have, and I'll be placing this here in this position. So double click on this. I'll be changing its value. So by double clicking on it, 1 divided by 500. So you will be converting this to per unit value. So 500 is a random value that I've chosen. So it will basically, if you get 300 volts at the output, 300 will be again converted into the per unit value with respect to point 0 to 1. So based on that, it will be converted. So you can do that without that as well, just to ensure that we get usually pulse width should be between the pulses, gate pulses should be between 0 to 1, isn't it? As a result, you're doing that. So in case you skip that step as well, it doesn't matter, so you can do that. So I'll be copy pasting this gain block again over here at this point, and I'll be giving it in this particular fashion. So the constant value, let me choose it to be equal to 200. I'm not going with an exact design procedure with respect to the circuit. I've already explained the design of the boost converter and simulation in MATLAB. Again, design of a full bridge, fully controlled rectifier. So you can look into the design and try to correlate the concepts and design for the circuit as well. So it basically depends on the type of application that you use that for. So I'll be having the sign as minus over here, and click on OK. And once that is done, I'll be giving it to a PID controller. The value of PID controller that we have chosen is, I'll be choosing the p value to be equal to 0.001, and the value of I is 10. So it is basically on the value that you want to. So if you want to reduce the steady state response or eliminate the amount of transients or overshoot, so based on that you have to design. You can do this using Laplace transfer approach as well. So once this is done, I'll be giving this to the product block, and consequently we'll be using a mux over here. So uh, let me delete this, and let me move this at this point. I'll be measuring the voltage at this point, and I'll be measuring between these 2 points, and I'll be giving it to the voltage. I'll be taking the current at this point to this particular this thing, and I'll be giving it to a scope. So control C, control V over here, and I'll be connecting this to the scope in this particular fashion. Once this is done, once the product is obtained, I'll be using this block again, control C, control V, and I'll be connecting this at this point with respect to the positive terminal. Negative is taken from the current output over here, so the measured value of current, and consequently it is again given to a PID controller. What is the function of a PID controller? It reduces the overshoot or the transients and reduces the error basically with respect to the circuit. And once that is done, I'll be giving it to a relational operator in this particular fashion, and a repeating sequence block is used. I'll be giving it to here. So one of the most important steps with respect to repeating sequence. So this is basically a triangular wave. How do we enter the time values and how do we enter the output values? First, let me enter them and I'll explain you why is it so in this particular fashion. So one, and then whole all of these are divided by 1000, and consequently the output values is 0, and then you have 1, and then you have 0 again. So why is it this way? So let us imagine a triangular waveform. Like, just observe the cursor. Let us say this is the triangular waveform. It starts from 0, goes to the maximum value, say let us assume it to be equal to 1, again comes back to 0. So that is the output value, 0 1 0. So triangular starts from 0, goes to 1, and comes back to 0. That is why output values is this. And what is the time value? So the time values, if you observe, y-axis is with respect, x-axis is with respect to time. It starts from 0, goes to a maximum value. At maximum value it will be t by 2. If you drop the cursor down, it will be t by 2. Again it goes on decreasing. At some point it will be greater than t by 2, isn't it? I am assuming that value to be equal to 1 divided by 1000. So t by 2, if the time period is in milliseconds, I am converting it to the value that is suitable to this circuit, and that is why it is divided by 1000. So click on OK, and once this is done, I will be giving this as an input to the gating block over here. So this is how we will be connecting the circuit, and we have entered all the parameters with respect to the circuit, I believe. So what is the thought process behind the working of the circuit? So now we are comparing the supply voltage at this point. Taking the supply voltage magnitude, we are determining the phase angle with respect to the supply, giving it to the sine function, taking the RMS value, and we are again having a feedback path where the output voltage is taken and compared with the reference value, and we'll be getting it this point. So over here we are multiplying output voltage and supply voltage just because of the fact that we need to ensure that the voltage and current are in phase with respect to each other. So that is multiplied and it is compared with respect to current. So the amount of deviation of voltage and current is sensed at this point, and it is given as an input to PID controller. PID controller will consequently reduce the amount of error that it has, and it is given to a comparator. Over here it just operates like a PWM generator, like sinusoidal pulse width modulation techniques and all we have studied with respect to inverter, isn't it? So this is a triangular waveform, and you'll be having a sinusoidal signal. Both of them are compared. Consequently, the pulses will be given to the gate signals. So now what we'll be doing, we will be entering the time to be equal to 1. We don't have a PowerGUE block, which is the heart of the circuit for the simulation to take place. So search for PowerGUE and place this right at the top. And once this is done, we will be simulating them. So click on run simulation in order to simulate this. So wait for some time. It does take some time for the simulation to run. So over here it shows the time duration for which we have set the value, which is 1 with respect to the circuit. Now double click on the scope. Let us first check the output voltage waveform, and we are getting a DC voltage, and you can see the ripple. You can further reduce the ripple as we have not gone with an exact design procedure. You can further reduce this ripple according to your design with respect to the capacitance value that you choose. So let us look at this part. This is one of the most important things that we have designed the circuit for, isn't it? So now observe this. This is the current waveform and voltage waveform. Restore the original view. If you observe this point, if you carefully see this waveform, both voltage and current are approximately in phase with respect to each other. When the current is increasing, the voltage is also increasing, and when it is decreasing, it is also decreasing. So they are in phase with respect to each other in this case. So they are not ideally in phase, but they are closer with respect to the phase relationship with respect to each other. Now let me say I'm using an RL load. So let me choose a random value 1 millihenry, click on run again, and let us look at the output voltage. Let us look at the phase relationship with the voltage and current, and consequently we will be able to conclude if power factor correction is taken place with respect to the pulses generated to the MOSFET. Double click on the scope over here. We're still getting, however the ripple is very high, don't worry about the ripple, but we're still getting a DC voltage in this particular fashion. So it is constant with respect to 2 points. So once that is done, now let us double click on this scope and see what is the phase and voltage current, phase current and voltage relationship. So we are getting phase current in this particular fashion. So let us zoom in this particular portion. So they're still in phase with respect to each other. There isn't significant difference with respect to the previous waveform, and we are able to achieve power factor correction by adjusting the value of gate pulses. So supply voltage, load voltage, both are multiplied, and the value of voltage is compared with the current signal deviation is given to the PID controller. The error is reduced and consequently given, and with respect to SPWM technique, we'll be triggering this particular switch. I hope the concept of achieving power factor correction is understood and you were able to simulate this in MATLAB. In case you have any questions, feel free to reach out by typing in your questions in the comment section below. If you like this video, please do like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Thanks for watching this video. Please do keep supporting. Thank you.